committee process. Then we'll have public comments at that time, or public hearing, and then we'll go into our commission meeting. So at this time, County Executive?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We'll call the Budget Committee to order. Ms. Hasbrook will take our minutes for us. Commissioner Hooks is here, right? Commissioner Hand present, Mr. Wilson present, Commissioner Berry present, I'm present, so all members are present. Committee members, you see, have everybody have their agenda packet for you, handed out. Everybody has it. All other commissioners too, we gave everybody a copy so you can follow along. We go to number 1. County Executive Budget Amendment Request, page 1. Do I hear a motion? Motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. You'll turn to page 1. You will see a proposed amended budget looking at specifically, we're talking about 51,300 here. We're looking at the line items 101, 103, 169, 185, and 199. What I'm actually requesting is a overall reduction in my budget by $41,729. This is basically due to the elimination of a position, taking the duties from that position and splitting it over the 2 remaining employees in my department. This will also involve carrying our project manager for 5 months full-time, who will retire on December 1st. And at that point, I'll have 2 full-time FTEs in my office. So that's an explanation. Any questions or comments?
So, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
As I understand now, so we're eliminating 1 person.
Correct. After December 1st.
And we have a part-time person till November.
Well, he will be full-time through November.
Through November.
Yeah, there's still $15,000 of part-time money,
Okay.
just in case we need to do future project management, or anything miscellaneous there.
So there's permanently though eliminating 1 person.
Correct.
Thank you, Mr.
Any other questions, committee members? All good? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. All right, if we go to number 2, Register of Deeds Budget Amendment Request, turn to page 2. Do I hear a motion? Motion. Is there a second? Second. I'll turn it over to the Register of Deeds.
I have a packet that I'm gonna hand out to everybody showing what I'll be talking about. Well, actually, I apologize because I only made enough for the budget committee, but I'll share. Okay, like I spoke the other day at the budget workshop about salaries, and I have amended my budget due to looking through the salaries compared to other offices, and my employees did a lot of the same jobs other employees do, so I looked at each office budget and amended from there. My office is a starting process. If a deed's not registered, it cannot be appraised, it can't be put on the tax rolls. We can't collect taxes. So I'm not saying by no means my job is the most important or my office is the most important. What I'm saying is, if my office doesn't do the job correctly, it stops all the process of getting property on the tax rolls. Everything in my office has learned hands through experience, no handbook to job. You'll refer to my list of employees, including in your packets on the actual second page. You'll see I have 81 years of total service in my office. That's a lot. I don't know how many offices can say that, but that's a lot of experience. And, you know, when we talked about at the budget workshop, Wade may mention that there was one office that was receiving a new position because 2 of her employees were retiring. So it takes 3 people to make up for 2. And that's what I'm trying to keep, is my employees with me, instead of hiring, when 2 retire, hire 3 or 4. So, I'm asking you all to allocate the extra money to keep my experience in the office. And if you'll look on my packet, you'll see that, I may have it out of order, but on the next page, you'll see that I bring in data processing fees that helps pay for anything that has to do with data processing. So, a lot of my office funds does not come out of tax money. I'm a fee office. Everything, I bring in a lot of money in my office. So if you'll just go through and look what the differences are in here. And you got the resolution. Well, I'm just going through. I mean, you can go through, look at it. I'm trying to get to what page I want to refer to. I've listed like the different accounts and budgeting. You know, the question was asked last time, how many employees are in each office? All you all have is a number. So on each, this was from the last year's, from the comptroller's office. The accounting and budgeting has 7 or 8 employees, and I've highlighted their accounting and bookkeeper budget. I've highlighted the property assessor's office, how many employees they have, what their budget is. The clerk and master's office, what their employees are, how many there are. You can look, I've kind of noted on each one. Also, being a fee office, the state says that I turn in the money to the trustee's office in lieu of salary. So I have turned in over $300 and something thousand in lieu of salary that my employees are not receiving.
Now, where is that? I'm sorry.
Let's see, that is actually on the last page,
On which document?
the last page,
This one right here?
on the one I handed out, yes. I highlighted it for you. And you can see where the other offices also, and you can compare my offices to other offices. And that's why I put this packet together, to show you all. I'm not asking for more than any other offices are asking. Mine has been slowly building up to that. So, any questions? I also have, I don't know if you all realize it, not only do I turn in money to the county, I turn in money to the Tennessee Department of Revenue. Are you all familiar with that? I've turned in over $2.3 million already this year. Can you pass that down to them?
That's by statute to the state, right?
Yes.
On what you're.
Yes. Yes, I'm just saying, the money that you see as far as my fees, that's not the only money I collect. I mean, we are, I've got, listen, but that is, that's how, the Tennessee Department of Revenue depends on that money to pay everybody's retirement, so that's where that goes. So, any questions with the packet that I handed out?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman. Do you have, I noticed here that, the monies that you have requested is, more than the budget that you submitted was allocated. Do you have
Yes,
the
because
money?
I wasn't aware that my employees were making less than the other offices.
Do you have the money in the fund balance? And I guess this is a question to the county executive. Would she have the money in her fund balance to make up, I guess it's additional.
If you,
$1,000.
If y'all look at this,
I'm trying to stay up here, just no cutting board.
so if you, you all look at the worksheet here on page 2, this is a budget worksheet that we put together to help explain what will go where based on the proposal. Look at the bottom box. You'll see on the right-hand side of that bottom box, total increase in difference between her original request in salary lines, which is 166, 118. She's requested that go to 200. That's a difference of 37, 419. And then our part-time line item was originally approved at 16,000. She's requested that it go to 25,000 for a difference of $9,363. So she's asked for a total increase to those two line items at 46,782. She has in her fund balance now, in her account, $15,254 that she could have given her employees at any time this fiscal year.
Actually, it's already been allocated.
When did you allocate that?
That was done.
Was it prior to learning the other department's budget?
No, that was after.
We have.
Actually, what it was my part-time, my full-time, I didn't hire her until November. So I had the extra money where July 1st to November also to allocate.
We've received no notification that those funds have been allocated, correct?
I know that you have moved some of your,
They have been allocated.
So the 15,254 has been allocated. Okay. Did you distribute, is that distributed evenly among your employees, or did you?
Between all my employees, yes.
Okay.
ever change to the 46.
So I guess my question, why would you wait till now? It just seems like
Because
everything's
my
starting.
full-time employee she went on in November, and I had the extra money between her salary.
So then why wouldn't you have done that from November until we came to the budget? It just seems like everything is starting after we had to hire an executive office.
Well, and I found out there was somebody being hired, and when I found out there was someone being hired in at $67,000 to $70,000, starting out, I was very upset that my top employee does not even make $50,000, and she's been there 17 years.
But you could allocate money to her to pay her $50,000 if you wanted to, right?
That's why I'm here at the budget.
No, but without the budget.
No,
Well, you have the opportunity, just like the county executive does, to pay your people whatever you want to pay them.
exactly,
after
that's
the
why I'm
budget.
here, that's why I'm here today.
Before this, when you came to the budget on the regular.
Well, I wasn't aware
But
of
it
all
doesn't
that.
matter if you're aware or not, you
I
have
was
the
trying
right,
to be
but
conservative.
you have the right to do that, right?
Yes, and
You
that's
can
why I'm
pay
here
them-
today. Mhm.
No, you're missing my point. My point is, last year you had the right to pay them whatever you wanted to pay them, as long as you were under your budget, right? If you wanted to pay the top gal $50,000, you could,
As long as it was in my budget.
as long as it was in your budget.
It was not in my budget.
And then we're going from part-time, 16 to 20, those folks wouldn't be qualified as your people, are they?
My part-time.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, we're going from 16 to 20,000 on part-time pay. So we're increasing part-time people's pay as well, not just full-time, part-time.
No.
Do you think $13 an hour is
I'm not,
available?
it's not about what.
Well, I mean, you're asking
Well,
me,
but
so
I
I'm
mean,
just
I'm not,
asking you.
you're the one that has total authority.
Mhm. And that's why I'm here
over your
today.
budget. Okay, so on receipts, are your fees okay this year? I mean, are they?
I showed you, it's on the last page.
Well, this is, I mean, your current fees, your fees this year ending this month. Are they?
Well, I haven't, and that's not ended yet, I can't, close out the month till it ends.
Mr. Chairman, do we have somebody that can share with us?
I think I saw it.
Where we are?
Go to, I think it was in here. Yeah, yeah. It was in revenue, right? Wasn't there a page in here that had revenue? Is there a revenue page in here?
On the last page.
Well, that's the issue.
Yeah, that's it, Ron. 45,580. Looking at, I think what you're asking is what the original budget is versus what's actually.
So I was asking about the fees that we collected.
Yeah, that's
so
it.
far this year.
So she was budgeted for 336. Projections are that she'll end at 329.
Okay.
So we're budgeting for less next year than what we budgeted for this year. The budget request is for 315 in revenue in that line item. For FY '24, we budgeted 336.
Why would we budgeted less this year?
Because it looks like our actuals are going down. I mean, it looks like your projection is 329. So you got a drop of $7,000 there from projected to actual budget, original budget.
But if that, if it goes over that budget, then it'll be amended up to match.
But it's trending downward, I
Yes.
think is the question. Is that right?
Yes.
So things are trending down, and expenditures are trending up. Is that what I'm seeing?
That's what it appears in this budget, yeah. Commissioners, other questions?
I'm sorry, and kind of pass it around, but that's okay, because there's a lot of good questions asked. So right now, our revenues are 246, as of June, 246, 086. Is that correct?
Correct, Jennifer?
I'm sorry.
You're looking at the registered deeds, projected revenues through June. It says projected year end 329, but actually estimated a budget, June 2024 is 246. Correct?
That is what is spent through as of this report. That's what's been, I'm sorry, not spent, that's been collected
Collected.
as of that
Correct.
report.
I'm sorry, Nikki.
That's what has been collected
That's what's being collected.
as of this report. So this is as of, I think I printed this early in June. So that
June
was
4th.
probably collections through May.
So what is her average collection through the year?
So that projected to year end, that is what we're projecting for her to collect through June, that 329.
So it looks like June will be a big month. If we catch up to our projections.
And if we caught up to the projection, would she then have the money to amend her budget to make these increases?
Well, her expenses aren't necessarily tied to her revenues, as far as collections go, right? I mean, that's
Those are
not-
those are fees in lieu of salary. Those fees that people are looking at, and my salaries does not even equal that.
Ms. Brackett,
Yes.
I say this with most respect, because I value someone who will stand up for their employees. And I admire you for being here today, and I admire you for this, for what you've done. It shows that you care about your employees. And I think no matter who you are, that if you're willing to do that, your employees will have respect for you. And that makes me have a lot of respect for you. And I understand you have $15,000 and you was able to use that.
That is not correct.
It shows that you had $15,000 that you could use, and correct me if I'm wrong, you have distributed out that money now to your employees. Is that true?
That is correct. That was the difference between when I hired my full-time and she was part-time until November.
I wish we could,
We have record of that money, that extra revenue has been spent on employees in those lines.
That would be, Lori would have that information.
Okay.
Because she
Well, I
does
had-
those
okay.
adjustments.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
but I really wish, Mr. Brackett, I really do wish that, and you didn't know, we didn't know. And I can't say to you, I wish you'd have came to budget committee and you know, then and told us this, because you did not know.
I did not.
And I completely understand. But I'm just gonna be honest with you, because I do have respect for you. The county executive eliminated the position, and I know that that position caused a lot of folks to look, and started looking. The county executive has since then eliminated that position and lowered his budget. And I hate that this has happened, and we was all commissioners was concerned this was gonna happen. But it's something we're all gonna have to deal with, and I know that. If we don't deal with it today, we're probably gonna deal with it tomorrow. Every department in Roane County, we're gonna have to deal with it. And Mr. Brackett was kidding a little bit earlier, and he said, I'm gonna raise taxes 10 cents. And that's a great joke. But if we're going to really do everything that everybody wants, if I can put in all the hydrants that Mr. Lamance wants and all the other fire departments want, if I'm gonna buy the ambulances that support Roane County, if I'm gonna have a nice park, if I'm gonna have a efficient solid waste, you know, if I'm gonna have a police department that can patrol the rural areas, we gotta pay for that services. I don't think I can get 8 commissioners right now to vote and say, yeah, let's do a 5% tax. Let's do a 5-cent tax. Let's go ahead and bite the bullet and do it. Why don't we make it 10 cents and let's go ahead, let's make it 15 cents and build 2 new schools while we're at it.
I'm not asking for a
I know,
increase. I'm
I know,
asking
but
because
everybody in
of
this
the
room, everybody in this room tonight has a need, and they're not just ones. They're not. But right now, we can't do this. I don't think we can. There's 14 other commissioners, and I say it to you respectfully, and I'd rather say it to you, Ms. Brackett.
Well, I appreciate it.
And I say it to you respectfully, I don't see that we can. I wish we could, and I wish I could fix everybody's problem.
I also have one question, and it has to do with cutting, salaries or cutting positions. You know, it's my understanding there was a position taken out of county and moved to personnel. That was not cut out of a county position. That was another position. And if you'll see that, that's in my packet also.
I can be corrected if I'm wrong, but I believe that position has been eliminated.
No, it's.
No, I'm talking about the personnel committee, I mean, the personnel,
Talking about
the
creating
HR.
Jennifer's position.
it was in actually the accounting budget. It has not been taken out of the accounting budget, it's still there. So if you move a position to another line, shouldn't you take that one out?
Don't know, I would like to, I'd like to give you the answer right now and say yes or no.
It's in the
But that's
packet.
something I need to look at and make the right determination.
It's the third page from the class.
But again, Ms. Brackett, I say it with most respect, because I appreciate that you're willing to stand there and fight for your employees. You're not trying to get yourself money. You're not trying to get a bigger office or new furniture or anything else. You're fighting for your employees. And I don't think there's not a commissioner here that doesn't admire that.
You know, I have 81 years of service in my office, and I'm a fee office. So I am willing to do a salary suit against the county if it's not passed. So in that salary suit, the money for the attorney will come out of my budget, or not my budget, it'll come out of my fees. Fees that I'm asking to be given to my employees for salaries, not a lawsuit.
I understand that, Ms.
I think that money-
You can do, you're right to, you have the right to do whatever you choose you need to do.
I think that money's going for a hire of a grant person, correct?
Exactly, we're backfilling, that position with a grant coordinator, and then it would assume, that position would assume there were, accounting responsibilities that Jennifer had, in that benefits manager, coordinator position. So they will be left that position and then doing grant coordination too. So it's a backfill position.
So my only concern is that we have to be careful of, from my side of the fence, is being consistent and fair of what we've done with other fee offices or done with other people that have came before it, because that's where the Pandora box would open, is if we deviate from that. I'm going back through my mind. I know that when Mr. Cofer, I think, had asked for some, we had to make sure that it was covered by fees that was coming in. If I'm not
We're doing that this
mistaken.
year.
And
That's
that's
in
what
this
we, yeah, and that's what we had to do. And, I think Molly's office had requested, and we had to make sure that there was a report, a projection report that where it covered. So that's where I'm getting hung up, is to make sure that, everybody has as much money as possible, that's for sure. But, I don't know where this would fall in line as far as being that's where I'm having a problem with the projection of the fees coming in, covering that position, or that extra money. So that's what I'm looking at right now, and trying to figure out how we stay consistent and fair with what's brought in compared to what, what's being amended on the budget. So what do y'all think? I mean, am I wrong on, Mr. Berry, do you remember that? Have we done?
Yes.
That's,
And,
that was my way of thinking.
and I think the whole thing would have been handled, as Mr. Gann suggested, had we done this at the correct time when the budget was being approved, and as you come in. I think since then, I think it's almost like we're just upset because somebody got a raise. Now, I mean, we got a whole courthouse full of people that would be expecting the same thing. I guess my question is, out of your 15,000, how much were you able to give folks?
I'll have to pull the numbers on that, actually. I'm pretty sure it was all.
I'm sorry.
I said, I'm pretty sure it was all.
I mean, were you able to give them 2,000 or 4,000 or 3,000 or how did you do your employees with that 15 that you had?
How did I do it?
Or how did you disperse it? Yeah.
Between the four, or actually, yes.
So everybody got a little piece of the pie.
Except my new full-time, because she has not been there a year.
Okay. But I just think it's really awkward to have to do it after the budget was approved that you submitted to us.
But the TCA says that I can amend my budget at any time before the budget is
I
approved.
understand that, but I'm just saying, we approved the budget that you submitted.
And I amended it.
And now we've got a hire that some folks didn't like, so now it's coming back. It's coming through.
It actually refers to equal
Now
opportunity.
we're coming through the back door to try to even the score. And if we do that, then it seems like we're really opening a bigger Pandora's box than we've got now.
Honestly, I didn't think it was fair that, my office is a fee office, and the other fee offices, if you look at one of the other offices, their budget is totally more than mine. Even an extra employee, and not the mere experience.
And in that particular office, as Mr. Wilson said, it's the same thing. The fees are gonna take care of those expenses. If they don't take care of those expenses, then we'll make adjustments. Just like we told Mr. Cofer, just like we told other folks on these fee offices, if they don't pay for themselves, then we've got to cut. So that's where we
So
are.
what about the offices that's not the offices? How do those get, funded?
They do just like you did, they bring a budget to us.
But I mean, what brings in the money? Taxpayers?
Yeah, they're not the officers. So, but it's just, I just think if we'd have done this at budget time, I think it'd be done a whole lot.
I'm in the rim of the law, so, you know, I shouldn't be
It
held.
doesn't have anything to do with the law. What it has to do with is we passed the budget. We're sitting here tonight to pass the overall budget. We've been asked to make amendments, really because someone was getting paid more than somebody else. We can do that all through the courthouse. So I just wish it had happened to.
Commissioners, any other questions?
You know, my thought of it is, cause I mentioned this Monday night, you know, I feel like them officers, the people in them, everybody should be brought up the same. You know, if she's within her time frame to do that, that's just my suggestion. I think that everybody would be brought up similar to the same as, what the other officers, similar, work that's done. I think they all ought to be about the same. That's my opinion.
Budget committee members, any other questions?
About the budget committee, I have a question.
Okay.
Ms. Brackett,
Yes.
would you be here tonight if Mr. Criswell hadn't made that hire?
After looking at the numbers, yes, I would be.
Thank you.
I've been conservative I was elected in '06, and I've been conservative with my budget all those years. And I thought it was time I could fight for my employees. I mean, they work hard, and they've been there for quite a while. And that's the least I could do for them.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
One more.
Yes, sir.
Question. Mr. Chairman, the races that you want to give, do you feel like that you bring in enough of these to absorb the additional cost?
I do. And I feel like giving my employees a raise will keep at least 2 employees from retiring here soon and having to hire 3 more to replace them.
But you wouldn't hire them in at the same rate, I would hope.
Well, looking at the other budgets, they are.
You know, we talked about this, gentlemen, in the budget committee, and we were doing this for various departments. I think Mr. Bird mentioned that we were talking about, what do you call that, Pandora, what, tell us, the boy again? Pandora's box.
Understand about Pandora's box.
I guess my question is, if I hadn't approached the budget workshop, when Mr. Creswell would have amended his budget
I already had.
after I turned in my amendment?
So I think that's what we're really catching now is it's all about, it's more about
Fairness?
what happened. It's not about fairness because every elected official can pay whatever they want for their employees.
As
So
long
it's
as
not,
it's passed by the budget.
as long as it's passed by the budget committee. So it's not about fair, it's just about the fact that now we have a situation where obviously you're upset because he paid an employee more. That's gonna,
You worked here 17 years, Mr.
this doesn't
Berry.
have,
Would you be upset if somebody come in making twice the amount of money? If you
I'll
had
be-
17 years?
if you're in the corporate world, it happens every
We're
day.
not corporate.
Well,
We're not.
and I'm not an employee. So.
You are.
Mr.
Commissioners, any other questions? Hearing none. All in favor say aye. All opposed nay. Motion fails. Move on to number 3. Preservations of records, budget amendment request, page 3. Do we hear a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All right, we talked about this a little bit in the budget workshop. You all heard me lay out my plan for the Preservation of Records Office in trying to have someone that was gonna be focused on current records and have one person who's gonna be focused on archives, especially since we're building a document storage facility for that. I had originally proposed a budget that would split the $98,000 line into two, so you have two equal employees. One does archives, one does current records. I've had lots of conversations with the Heritage Commission, spoke with Dave Mason, who's the chair of the Heritage Commission, spoke with Jim Henry, who does a lot of fundraising for them, with Senator Yeager, who's both are involved in the Heritage Commission. And after talking to them, the part-time employee there is pretty instrumental in the operations and the fundraising for the Heritage Commission. So, I have before you is a proposal to basically add back that part-time line into the preservation of records budget to be able to retain that employee. This keeps our FTEs the same. We still end up with 2.5 basically. It's just that the full-time, one of those full-time positions goes from what is basically being used right now to scan documents only, to being a records, I lost my terminology on my title, records management specialist, that's what it was. So, and she would certainly be willing, the person in that full-time role now could certainly be.
You're saying she got added duties, is that what you're just saying?
Well, she would have to apply for that job. That's a totally different job.
Okay.
So she could certainly apply for an interview for that position in a new full-time position, is what I would be saying. But this would allow us to retain that, that part-time position. So they requested that I do that, and I agreed to ask you all to consider.
So she couldn't serve both roles,
Well, she's
both positions?
No. After thinking about what they told me about their structure, they do not. Now, I talked to them about eventually having employees, so that the county could maybe just contribute to the Heritage Commission and they be the employees of the ones that are taking care of the archives. We're basically paying a historian, a county historian, who manages the old courthouse. So, yeah. Any other thoughts or questions?
So, again, you're gonna have one full-time employee, two full-time employees, one part-time.
Correct.
And,
If this is approved. If not, just two full-time.
and part-time, we cut out.
We had, yes.
So this is sort of similar to that same situation, and we've passed the budget, now we're coming back and get some details, somebody wants part-time, and we're going through this again. How do we justify the part-time, adding back that part-time? I mean, what's that part-time going to do that we're not going to get if we eliminate?
According, and I'm just sharing information, Sheriff B, is the operations of the courthouse itself and fundraising were the two key roles. They said that she feel that our current full-time person does not. So that's what we would be losing by going to these two full-time only positions.
Is that something we can have through the nonprofit? If it's going to be the Heritage Commission and we're.
Potentially, their request this year is $40,000 for nonprofit.
Did they have numbers, how much that she had brought in through the fundraising?
Not to me. I don't know, if Junior, you remember that at all?
I know,
The gala?
I don't remember what it was, Roane.
Who is the part-time, do you know?
Her name's Mary. Mary. Now, he was going to cut a position in half.
Yeah,
So where's it stand now?
yeah, but when you really look at the net, I was cutting a position in half, but adding back a position too. So it's a net of minus 0.5, minus part-time. Because the new full-time position was the brand new records management for current. And then, so you're cutting out a full-time that just does scanning right now. So what we're really doing is just transitioning from one job description to another. for that full-time spot.
So Kelly staying, is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying Kelly could apply for that job and interview
Oh,
for the
okay.
new job, but it's a brand new job.
Right, okay.
So without the part-time person, you had it figured where we were gonna get a historian
And
and a records clerk. That's what we were looking for, right?
Correct.
So the part-time is gonna do fundraising.
And operations. I know.
Okay.
I wish I had more information for you there, but
Thank you.
that's as specific as I
It
had.
it just seems like we're right back in that same situation where we had it figured out at budget time and,
Yeah.
thank you.
Can I say something?
Sure.
Uh, You know, she does more than that. I mean, they do have boy, Girl Scout groups that come in there, classes,
With tours,
tours. With the state park going in down here, that's gonna bring more traffic through here. We have people from all over the world, that calls in there for their geology. And, so, I mean, you know, it's not like she's sitting over playing Candy Crush, she's working.
In bringing you the original proposal, my goal there was to try to prevent from growing government. And when you got a budget, you have a need, try to take what you have and make it work. We know we need a historian, that's statute says we have to have a county historian. But, we desperately need as a county government, somebody to centralize our records and be able to track them and retrieve them a whole lot more efficiently than we can right now. So I was just trying to take what we had and make both work.
Thank you for giving me time.
Sure.
I support the Heritage Commission 100%, to help them do whatever I can. This one is just a situation again, though, where we thought we had everybody's needs met. And I think in order to do what we're gonna do and try to prevent the budget from growing government, that, you know, we can always add that, you know, at a later date, if it's a nonprofit or whatever we wanna do. I think we're just in the same situation.
So and unless you all want to speak
What
to
is
it,
the total again that we,
the difference here we're talking about, 22,594 is the latest update. So that, I mean, that may be the way to handle it, is through the nonprofit committee.
but with what we're given through what we've been given and what they're requesting, what is the total?
We've been given them 25, they requested 40 this year. We have 12 applications, right, which is down from our normal.
But our request is up.
Are they?
Yeah, the cost is more.
But, so we talked about, so this is a part-time employee, so she's not getting benefits. So if they're willing to consider, employing somebody part-time through the Heritage Commission, then addressing this through the nonprofit committee might be the best way to do
And
it.
if we're going from 25 to 40, then that takes care of.
But
some of that part.
But they are requesting that, doesn't mean they're gonna get 40.
No, but I'm just saying, if you wanted to do it that way, you're not messing with the budget, not messing
The
with
the reason I asked what they were bringing in, because I would have thought that would have covered her salary.
Bring it in.
Yeah, for the fundraising.
I'm sure it would.
Well, may I speak?
Yes, sir.
You know, most of the money they get for fundraising is spent for repair of the courthouse up there.
That's why I was asking them.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think they brought in 60 or 70,000, and, you know, it's taken 100 plus to do what they've just got finished doing. The money that they've been getting from the Heritage, the nonprofit, it basically keeps the lights on, they pay the utility bills, the insurance.
They're requesting almost a third of the nonprofit's available money for one. So, I mean, you know, we have 11 other, you know, nonprofits they're just as worthy to help. And so when you're looking at $40,000, that's a lot of money for one.
Well, I mean, in this economy, you know, it's costing everybody $904 a month, to buy groceries, so I mean, utilities and everything over there, they're not cheap, and that's basically what they use that money for. They normally ask for a little more, there might be something else that they're wanting to do over there. But, you know, every penny they get, they're appreciated, it's desperately needed.
But we can't count on being able to give them $40,000. I mean, honestly, that's almost a third of that budget that we have. And every nonprofit's cost has gone up, so I mean, when it comes to that, we can't just automatically sit here tonight and say, okay, we'll take care of that out of nonprofit. Because when it comes before the nonprofit, if you had a chance to look at some of the ones that been given to us, you know.
It's hard to do, I know, I've been on it.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to do,
So,
because you won't help everybody.
yeah, I mean, you do.
Anyway, thank you.
Commissioners, any other questions?
I kind of agree with Commissioner Murray, and I know we have a bit, I kind of agree with him. You know, we're talking, we just voted down 31,528. Now we want to add back 22,594, and that's a difference of $8,934. You know, I've got a problem with it, you know, I really do, and, you know,
Woman's job, why?
I'd say we leave it like this.
Commissioners, anything else? Okay, give it a vote. All in favor say aye. All opposed nay. Motion failed. All right, we'll go to number 4. Fund 121, Fire Prevention Budget Amendment Hydrants, pages 4 and 5. Do we hear a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All right, so if you go to page 4, anybody on fire board like to speak to this, Ben or Ben?
I think we just discussed it quite a bit the other night, and I think the consensus from what I'm understanding from the fire chiefs is to put the money back into the fire hydrant fund instead of taking the contribution into their operational cost of $7,000. So,
So is this document amended to include that?
There would be no change.
Oh, no change.
it was just reverted.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
So what is your, to put 35 back into the,
Back into the fire hydrant fund.
leave the other money there as well?
No,
Take the 7?
yeah, that's where that money came from. Because that would be,
reduce it actually.
I mean, we'd have to drag that money from somewhere. That's the only place, if you'll remember, that's the only place we could find it.
So, the motion then would be to decrease lines 316 from 35,200 back to 28,200.
That is correct.
And use that $35,000 in line,
On page 5,
say it again, Jim,
on page 5, it's, line 790,
790,
the HYDRT hydrant,
to increase back up to 80,000.
75.
Because they had the option to take the money operationally, but and I'm sure I would love for them to have both, to be honest with you, but that's finding that money again. I don't know where you'd find that. That's the only place at that time is where we could pull that fund.
Just reverting back to the original.
Yes.
Commissioners, any other questions?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
the other night, we spent more time on fire hydrants than we did the Board of Education budget. We didn't even talk about the Board of Education budget the other night. We spent more time on fire hydrants. I think I've asked the chief to tell us how many fire hydrants you got a report.
I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Sure.
You wanna know?
How many fire hydrants have we put in the last couple of years by each district?
In the 23-24 budget that we're currently operating on, Blair's placed 3. East Roane County is placed 2. West has done 3, and Midtown has either 2 or 3.
and that depends on whether they can repair one. They're either gonna repair or replace one, so that's the difference there.
And that was in 23-20.
That's the 23-24 budget, that's 3, 6, 7, 8,
Did South have any?
10, maybe 11, I'm sorry?
South?
None.
Okay, so that's 2023. Do you have?
The prior year, we did 9 across the county.
9,
Blair did 2 and East did 7.
okay. So it sounds to me like what we're doing is, we're penalizing the folks that we're gonna give $7,000 to use it any way they want to, for some that are putting in 2 or 3 fire hydrants, and maybe we don't have any idea, because of the utilities, how many additional we can put in with 6-inch lines, that don't have the 6-inch lines to do that with.
We don't have that information.
So it just seems like we're gonna put money back into a fire hydrant line that really hadn't been used very much, and take away $7,000 that they can use however they want.
But last year, that's what I was just asking her, last year only $15,000 was allocated out of 2023.
Okay? So not many fire hydrants allocated.
No.
Historically, Tim's got a report, goes back 8 years, on what's been budgeted, and what's been spent. Over the past 6 years, we budgeted, you all have budgeted $454,858, and we've spent $178,111 for hydrants.
That is why we capped, because I remember that's why we ended up capping, because that money just kept growing. The allocation to the funds is still there, going to the fire departments.
The 40,000.
Well, I'm talking about.
But I'm saying we've got 40,000 for fire hydrants, and 35 too for the other funds. So it looks like that's win-win situation. We've no more fire hydrants than we've had, and not penalize the fire hydrant, or the ones that don't have it.
Ron, this is just what they've asked for, like, this is in response
Yeah, I
to
mean,
them
that's
coming
what
to
I'm.
us. Yeah.
Them, whatever, but that's just what was
And
requested.
I think it'd be easier if some of these new these utilities are putting new 6-inch lines in, to come back in a minute to give them some money for a fire hydrant, than it would be to penalize all of them of the $7,200.
So
They can use for anything.
you're saying keep the money
Distributed.
distributed.
We've got 40,000 for fire hydrants and 35 too for anything they want to use for.
But they came up here and said they wanted to go back.
I'm just doing what they requested.
Well, we had one, I think, one Chief Lamance, and Chief Lamance is in a position to where they're adding 6-inch lines. We may have to come back and give him some more money for fire hydrants.
So my understanding was it was Chief Lamance and, Eastrum was requesting this too, right?
I have not spoken to him.
I don't know. Hey, look, it's whatever y'all want to do, just
One of the challenges that Chief Lamance faces, if you look at the utilities and what they charge, REU charges $4,500 to put a hydrant in. REU, Rockwood Electric, puts in the hydrants out there.
We don't want them putting any water hydrants.
Rockwood Water, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Trying to help you. The people that do it in Rockwood do it for $4,500. In Casey's district, that same hydrant costs him $8,500. I mean, that's
crazy.
every utility.
Over 9, I believe. Utility over 9.
Martin told me that it would cost them today, $9,500.
I'm sorry?
$9,500.
For what district?
What's Mark?
What's our utility district?
The last ones they put in were $7,500.
He said-
They put them in within the last 5 months for us.
He told me in reality, at today's cost, it would be $9,500. That's probably not a problem.
Commissioner Gann.
So, I know I go off on these crazy things, but as a homeowner, there's years I work on my roof, right? And then there's other years I may have to work on the field, right? So, it's what I have the money for to do at the time, or what's important, or what's a need at the time. And I said this the other night, rural areas need fire hydrant. I know, so after this meeting, the other day from work, when I hit my district at Blair Road to my house, I counted fire hydrants. There's 2. That's a distance of 7 miles. If you go over to Sugar Grove Valley, you're gonna have about the same. If you go to most of the other areas of my district, you're gonna have about the same. Some are more, some are, some are closer, I will say that. I've always said in my district, there's 3 things we need. We need good roads, we need fire services, we need ambulance, and we need police services. In a rural district, that's what you have to have. In the districts where you have your cities, you don't have that much of an issue as you do in the rural areas. We're in real twix because all the volunteer fire departments' cost has gone up. We know they need more money. That's something we're gonna have to work on. But there is an immediate need also for fire hydrants. Mr. Lemans put in a purchase order for fire hydrants prior to this decision being made. So he is already working on installing more fire hydrants. And he knows if he takes all the money out to put in fire hydrants, he is trying to be a good neighbor and saying, hey, I don't want to take all the money from all the other fire departments in rural areas that also needs fire hydrants. I'm telling you, District 3 needs fire hydrants. My population is senior population. My 67% or 37% of my population are senior citizens. That home is all they got. That's it. We need to be able to protect our homes and our citizens. In order to do that, I need fire hydrants in my district.
So you're in favor of moving money back?
Yes, because I want to put hydrants in. And if there's a problem we don't have enough, then we need to solve that problem and we'll work on it in the fire.
Mr. Wilson.
So I would like to make a motion on this, which I feel like is a fair motion, is to increase, to put the money back into the fire hydrant. And to keep from penalizing, we move $16,000 from fund balance, which would be $3,200 extra for operational cost into each volunteer fire department.
So
the money would go back into the fire hydrant fund.
is this an amendment to your original motion?
Well, that was,
Is it like a new
because
motion?
nothing actually moved yet. Yeah, nothing's actually moved yet, so this would actually be a motion. to do
Yeah.
this.
I'm trying to think of a way to make it an amendment instead of a new motion. So we have a motion on the floor.
Can I make a friendly amendment of my own?
Well, you would need a second, you would need to vote on the amendment.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second on an amendment to move $16,000 out of fund balance into lines, what was that again?
316.
316,
So that's a win-win all the way around.
and still move still put $75,000 in the hydrant line. Right?
And that will cover the increase that's,
Yeah. 16,000.
operational cost increase.
Mr. Berry?
The bottom line isn't about how many fire hydrants, the bottom line is how many can we place? You might not have been driving by 6-inch water lines, and you're not ever gonna have any hydrants until they put a new line in. Obviously, we put 9 in one year, we used $178,000. I mean, that's what it's all about, until we get and I'm sure that our long-range planning committee is looking with the utilities where those 6-inch lines are, where they need to be. That's the key to this whole thing. It's not how much money we put in there, it's how much we've actually used and how much we can actually install.
Not to interrupt you, sir. Mr. Nance, does it show, on the information you have, does it show what percentage of lines is in our district?
I just write that one,
Okay,
yeah,
because in is it East Roane County? Or is it south? What?
south.
South, 72% of their lines are now 6-inch.
Okay, so we're gonna have to put more money in there.
Yeah.
Probably more than we're gonna put in there, and that's okay.
And Company Utility District has increased the numbers of 6-inch lines in that area.
But it just seems like, again, once again tonight, we had no mention of fire hydrant problems until we passed the budget. Somebody said, wait a minute, they've cut $35,000 out, and now we're doing the same thing again. Everybody's running, saying we need more money for fire hydrants, when it may not be the fire hydrants. I hate to cut people for using their money any way they want. We're still 40,000 in fire hydrants. If they need fire hydrants, come back here and tell us they need fire hydrants. It's gonna happen, as you say, as they develop more 6-inch lines, we're gonna need more fire hydrants. And then the other side of the coin is, what good are fire hydrants if we don't have anyone to drive the truck to hook to the fire hydrant? That's probably a bigger issue than the fire hydrant issue.
It's a tremendous issue.
So we've got problems, but it just seems like instead of, we've got a chance to help fire departments by getting $7,200 of monies that they can use however they want. If we're gonna do that, let's put the 35,000 back in fire hydrants and have it both ways. If it's that important, let's put 35 back in the fire hydrants, keep the 72, and go. That's helping them more than any.
So are you saying that if we put it back into it, that when they come and request fire hydrant money, we can give them fire hydrant money?
I'm just saying you'd have the 75 back in fire hydrants like you had before, and 35 too in the other line. If that's, I mean, we spent more time on fire hydrants than we have any part of this budget, and haven't even mentioned the schools. So if that's the key issue, then
I've got an amendment on the floor. Any other discussion before we vote on the amendment? Again, the amendment.
I would amend the amendment. Put the 35 back.
You have to vote on it.
Need to see if this amendment is passed first. You've got an amendment, you've got a main motion, you've got an amendment, so you need to deal with that amendment.
I can put another motion on, right? We have two motions.
You got to cover
What?
We can't have two motions.
You can't have two motions to amend at the same time, you gotta deal with each amendment.
We got an amendment on the floor, here we go. So the amendment is to add, $16,000 to the contributions lines,
$3,200 apiece.
$3,200 apiece, and put $75,000 in the hydrant line. That is the amendment.
Yes.
Any other questions before we vote? All in favor, say aye. All opposed?
No.
3-1, correct? Okay, 3-1. Motion carries. Now we have an amended motion on the floor to do exactly what the amendment just did.
I'd like to make an amendment, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to amend that we put 35,000 into the hydrant fund for a total of 75, and keep the 7,200 per fire department, as we have in the budget.
So instead of 16,000, we're looking at 35,000. So a difference of so the amendment, the motion is to add an additional, $19,000 that we're talking about?
Well, we add 35 to the fire hydrant line and maintain.
Well, that's already a part of the original motion on the floor now as amended. So the 35
Then
back in.
I would amend
To go up
the 16 to 30. What's your?
16,000.
16,000 is 3,200.
To go back up to 35,000.
32.5.
So it'd be to increase the contribution
35.
lines by a total of $19,000 up to $35,000 split equals. Right?
Remember, they didn't request that.
Yeah.
70,000, right?
7,000 per department.
Yeah.
Total of 35.
Right now, we're at
35 too.
$3,200.
So his amendment really needs to be to leave the budget as is for 35.2 in the contributions and increase the hydrant money 35,000.
Yes. Right. All right, do I hear a second?
I second.
Motion and a second, discussion. What this is basically giving them both.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I agree, and I'm gonna be short. I know this something that tried down, and I agree with Mr. Bird. She talked about this, and I mean, talked about schools, but, that's one of the rural areas, that's one of the most critical services that our taxpayers have. My taxpayers, in the east end, rarely see anything from the tax rate. We've got good law enforcement, we've got, good fire departments, and we've got good EMS. That's about the story right there, services that we get up there. And we can argue it all day long, but, we've gotta have fire protection, we've gotta have police protection. And, I would like for us to work out something. I thought I wouldn't drag this out. But I would love for us to work out something with these, developers, and it may be possible that, as we develop, we can put in fire hydrants, either at the association's cost or the homeowner's cost. You know, it would lower their insurance rate.
Mr. Chairman, I think our codes, we already have that in our codes, that any new subdivision, the developer is responsible for putting in 6-inch lines with a hydrant attached to it. Am I correct?
Hydrant number 1,000.
Yes, so you're on.
All right, commissioners, any other, we have an amended motion on the floor. Any other questions? All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. All right, moving forward, we have resolutions. Resolution number 5 on the agenda, 06-2401, 2024 cleanup resolution funds in total of $101,357,364. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second? Hear a second? Okay, good. Wilson and Hooks. So if you'll turn to page 6 and 7, you will see, this cleanup resolution. Jennifer, anyone, you got to speak to this?
We had to increase the hotel motel tax, and that offsets the revenue for the industrial development. That's the $11,916. The drug court grant increased $4,500. That is 0% match, so it's revenue in, expenditures out. The payroll lines and the committees for additional meetings that we've had the last couple months. We have vacation payout, in the accounting office. Trustee commission needs to be increased, and that's in general fund. In the 357, there's also a vacation payout. And 364 is mainly a cleanup that they didn't have funds in their budget, so we're having to pull from their fund balance. So this is all just cleanup.
Yeah. Thank you. Commissioners, questions? Anything?
On that, drug task force. On vacation, that's for vacation pay?
No, it looks like somebody left.
Yes.
Yeah, we had to pay out vacation because of, somebody left their position.
Okay.
Any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 06-2402 to 2024 school cleanup resolution fund 141-143. Do you hear a motion?
So moved.
I have Hooks and Commissioner
Second.
Wilson. I want, Gary, anything you want to speak to here, this school?
It's just a final cleanup resolution for 23-24 budget, just making sure that everything's good for audit come October. Any questions, I'll be glad to answer.
Y'all have that on page 9. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 06-2402B 2025 tax levy resolution. Do we hear a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Motion by Hook, second by Gann. Y'all have a tax levy there. We've talked about this in quite a bit of detail. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 06-2403B, 2025 appropriation resolution, on page 12. Do I hear a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
This is now amended, correct?
Yes.
So Jennifer, can you walk us through what we have amended and what those new totals are?
So we have. Okay, so we have amended the county executive line.
So what's the new total under FY '25?
It would be, for the county executive line,
It's like 41,000, wasn't it?
it is 413,581.
413,581, okay.
Which one is that, I'm sorry?
It's a county executive, under 101, county executive, changed to 413,581 under FY '25.
And the only other change would be in the Fund 121 for the hydrants. That would be on
Page
page
14,
14.
so fire prevention, then,
Yes, the fire prevention, but for the hydrants, so you're adding 35 to that, so that would make that line 989,972.
okay. 989, 972.
972,
Those are the only two changes?
yes.
All right, commissioners, we have this amended resolution based on the prior votes from this evening. Any questions or comments?
The election commission is the same thing, it gets us every 2 years, I guess, as the election goes up next year.
Yeah, no, in capital, we add to them every year,
For the machines,
right? And in this, you're just paying
for
operational
the workers
expenses.
and stuff, and it'll go up and down as we have.
It was 106, like 106,000?
106,000. Okay, we talked about the others.
Any other questions?
And this one is the one that shows our growing government. Right, as we flow through the departments and stuff, whatever it is, medical, whatever it is, because medical's killing us across the board. And this includes the 3.5% raise, right?
Correct. For all county employees. Now, once that's allocated, again, your individual offices have the elected official has a choice on how to divvy that out. But from a budgetary perspective, it's 3.5% for all employees.
For budget purposes.
Right.
So we get back to, there's a pot, that equals a number of
That's
dollars.
exactly right. An elected official can take all that money, 3.5% across 10 employees and give it to one
So
employee.
we're not doing 3.5% to every employee.
Well, we are,
I'm saying,
from a budget perspective.
we're divided on that money, where it goes, that's not for us to decide. Okay.
That's exactly right.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Number 9, we're in transfers and cleanup now. Looking at 101 salaries and benefits cleanup, page 30. So you gotta turn all the way back to page 30. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, if you all look at the 101 cleanup, looking at salary and benefits, I mean, each line, this is just correcting to make sure we don't overspend any line items and moving money from lines that we'll have left over that won't be spent. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
I don't,
All opposed? Motion carries. Number 10, benefits cleanup, Fund 128. Do I hear a motion?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
who made
sir.
the last motions on that?
I'm sorry?
I don't have motions on that.
Oh, we, done
Yeah,
this one? Okay, back up.
I think it was
Yeah, I
me.
think I did.
I thought we did.
Commissioner Hooks and Commissioner Gann?
Yes, it was Hooks and Gann.
Well, that's what I had on the appropriation resolution. Was Hooks
I
again.
think Ben made the motion,
I
I
couldn't-
second the last
Was
one.
it me and you?
Okay, that's fine, that's fine.
I apologize for going too fast.
No problem. Keep going.
Fund 128, benefits cleanup. Do I hear a motion? Second?
What page?
31. Page 31. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you. Looks like we're moving $4,000 from state retirement into medical insurance. Just to, again, make us accurate so we don't overspend any line items. Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Number 11, Fund 131, salary and benefits cleanup on page 32. Do you hear a motion?
Motion.
There's a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay, see here, we're just moving a total of $2,940, from these three line items into others, just, again, just clean up. Any questions?
So this is the highway department.
Yes, correct, 131.
So the highway department had excess funds left over in payroll, right?
Yes.
In salaries. So is that goes back, that's going back to the general fund, back to the fund balance?
Not general fund, though.
No, but the 131.
Yeah.
So what they're doing is, she's just giving them raises out of that fund, those funds that are.
Out of excess funds
Mhm.
for next year.
Yes,
But that'll be part of her budget.
yes, it's
They're
within her
not getting, they're
budget.
not getting the money extra, that's just part.
It's within her budget, yes, so
Within
she
her
just
budget
starts
for
seeing it
next
within
year.
her budget, yes.
And the excess money from this year goes into
But we've already budgeted for next year, which should cover what these raises are, correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
yeah, thank you.
Sure. Any other questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. And then finally, number 12, Fund 204, salary and benefits cleanup, page 33. Do you hear a motion?
So moved.
Second, I have a Wilson and Gann. Looks like we're moving $5,760. Just again, cover cleanup, preventing the overages. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. That's the end of business. Any other business come before the budget committee? Hearing none, I hear a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Motion, meeting is adjourned. Mr. Chairman, turn it back over to you.
All right, I have a request for a 5-minute, break. Is that okay with the rest of the commission?
Absolutely.
All right, do so at this time. I will be timely, Mr. Gann.
Thank you, sir, I appreciate you.
I value you more than you weigh yourself.
More than most That was real.
No animals? No animals, just monkeys?
Yes, sir. All right, hey, commissioners, go ahead and make your way back to your seats. Let's go and get this started. Commissioners, can we get back to our seats, please?
We're gonna have to hit the gas. Let me do it. Let me do it.
Keep rubbing that hands
That's all.
Roane County High School education right there.
Yes.
Yes. Everybody starts crying, I said, will you make sure I agree. states, what I'm like, some embarrassing. Here, until it can be so disappointing. I know. He's ready to go.
It must be back in.
Better get him out of the joint. Let's take this phone. My question to y'all is,
All right, Ken, go ahead and take your seats. Let's go ahead and, get this, commission meeting started.
All rise. Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. This Honorable Commissioners meeting of Roane County, Tennessee is now in session. Your Honorable Chairman Shannon Hester presiding. God bless these United States, the great state of Tennessee, in this honorable meeting. At this time, Commissioner Hooks will lead us in prayer. Afterwards, please remain standing for the pledge to our nation's flag.
Let us bow our heads. Our good Lord, it's again, Father, that we have met another time in this commission room. Father, to discuss, to take action on the business that comes before this body. Father, to help this county to be a better county, our state a better state. Lord, and I know that, Father, just as in any business, Father, Lord, that, Father, there's some that would leave disappointed. Father, we pray for them tonight. Lord, and we also pray that, Lord, that you would help us to make a clear decision, Father, as we move forward, God. Father, and us remember, Lord, we ask Super Jack tonight. Lord, lay your hand upon him. Help him, Lord. Father, as only you can, his mother and father. These things will last in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Please silence your cell phones.
This time, go ahead and try your electronic login. And are we on?
No, everyone's not signed in.
Okay.
Meeting not loaded. Thank you.
Mr. Hooks.
Sorry.
All right, thank you. We have 14 out of 15. All right, let's go ahead and get started with our meeting. Acceptance of committee reports and correspondence. For the budget committee, I've got 2 minutes up there. Do I hear a motion to accept?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. All those, or any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, on the committee reports, what?
Says, minutes of budget committee, 5/10/24 and 5/30/24. They're just in the agenda, so that's.
I'm just confused, I just.
I am too.
I thought we were having a budget.
I don't remember that.
I don't know, I mean, I'm not sure what the correspondence and stuff would be for tonight.
Not from May, May 10th and May 30th. As those committee reports.
Those are the minutes that are those the meetings that the budgets were voted on?
Budget committee bid.
Are those not in the packet?
Yeah, I think I see it.
Yeah, they're.
Yeah.
This is July the 8th. July the 8th meeting.
It's to accept from 5:30 and 5:10.
These were turned into our office for this meeting.
July the 8th. I didn't get that file.
That's July's meeting, July's regular county commission meeting. That filing deadline date is today.
So, Mr. Chairman, are we doing the budget minutes? Is that what we're doing?
This
Yes.
one was emailed out to you all.
Yes.
You can borrow mine.
You need it.
I need it back though.
I have a motion and a second, we're debating, I guess.
I don't know if we know what we can debate. So we're doing May 10th budget first, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
May 10th?
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
we'll do them chronologically. They were emailed to us, guys. You do have them in PDF format on your, computer or on your tablet.
So we're just
We're just approving those
approving these
minutes.
minutes, and as they've been amended tonight, we're just approving these minutes as presented.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. You have them.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. All right, motion passes. Then, next motion would be, 5/30/24 Budget Committee. I have a motion. No, I'm asking for a motion. I'm not saying I have one.
Just a voice.
Our screen is not reset.
Mr. Chairman, is that voice?
Well, if the screen don't set, reset it will be, but give us a second.
No, Chairman,
They were supposed to be together?
they're together on the agenda as one item under minutes. Same as our regular commission meetings.
Okay. All right, does that, anyone
So
object?
that approves both sets of minutes.
Anybody object to approving both those minutes of her vote? Hearing no objection,
I just need that packet back.
and is there any more debate on these, minutes, although we voted and passed the minutes? Hearing none, seeing none, we'll move forward. At this time, we're gonna offer up public comment, so if, you would, if you're gonna address the commission, please state your name, and, please limit your time to 3 minutes, so if you would, step forward now. All right, hearing none, seeing none, we'll move on to the, our 4 new items to the list here, for our new business. Resolution 06, but before we get into that, I would like to make this statement here, because, guys, I've only been doing this a few years, 6 years. This budget cycle it's been harder than probably most of the cycles. But I would like to thank the budget committee for I don't know how many hours you guys put into this budget. I would like to thank the accounting department, I'd like to thank the county executive for endless work going toward this budget. But with that said, this is not Wade's budget, as I've heard it called. This is the county's budget, and now it's about to be our budget. Some facts that I've rendered out of this budget: we've not raised taxes to operate government, but we have moved funds to cover our operational costs. Made the statement the other night in the workshop that we've grown government and we've grown the cost of government. You know, me personally, I look at the line items, the increases, and when I see 37, 40% in a budget line, it concerns me. But still, we have 13% supposed to be falling out of this budget. I've talked to the county executive in detail where I would like to tighten up the budget constraints of that and the inflation to running government and growing government. I want to reduce that cost of growing government if it's possible. If we have to add services though, we will add services to serve the citizens of Roane County. But when it's all said, the first pillar that I rest my hat on, we didn't raise taxes to operate this budget, but we did move funds. So thank you for that time, and we'll go ahead and get started with resolution 06-2401. Resolution amending the operation of the General Fund 101 Drug Task Force 357 and District Attorney General Fund 364 for fiscal year ending 2024. Motion by Hooks, second by Mr. Kirby. Commissioner Hooks.
No further comment, we done discussed it in detail.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Kirby. All right, any discussion? All right, hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. All right, motion carries. 14. Resolution 06-2402, a resolution amending the General Purpose School Fund 141 and Central Cafeteria Fund 143, reflecting changes in expenditure estimates for the 23-24 fiscal year. Motion by Wilson, second by Gann. Commissioner Wilson.
Nothing further.
Commissioner Gann.
Nothing further, already discussed, sir.
Any debate?
Mr. Chairman?
Sir, floor recognizes Commissioner Berry.
We have no maintenance of effort increases in the school budget, is that true?
That's correct.
And you're buying, what, 40 school buses? Three? Okay. And that's on your normal rotation, right? Okay. You're given a 3% raise and a $1,000 bonus, is that what I understand? Okay. Is that cost, is the state taking care of that, or?
Yeah, you know, that's a requirement by law that we get the 50,000 starting salary within 2 more budget cycles. So they're sending us money. Now, it's like a lot of things the state does. They say they're sending 4%, but they're sending 4%. Their 4% isn't every employee, so some of that's coming out of our internal funds. But we're well within it's a very conservative budget, so was last year's. Until we understand what TISA does and doesn't fund, I want to be very stingy with this money. And, you know, I appreciate everybody respecting that and letting our fund balance grow a little bit, because there's all kinds of unforeseen things that when you ask the state, oh, it's included in TISA, it's included in TISA. So there's some of that, we just don't fully trust it yet. So we are being ultra conservative. Some of the positions, the tutoring positions that they were paying for out of a separate line, it's included in TISA, so we're having to pick those up. But it's 15 positions for our tutoring that's required by law. But outside of that, we're not doing anything. We're not adding positions. We're not, no salary adjustments outside of the 3% and $1,000, and that's across the table. It's very conservative, very responsible budget. So that's
So where are we in terms of the number of employees, like nurses and librarians? Are we okay on those, or are we?
Honestly, you know, of course, some of the money that's included in TISA was to expand some of those positions. We have not done that yet. We're waiting, let the dust settle, make sure that everything is covered, and then we may look at that in future budgets. But right now, we're bare bones, and we're making it work. So we have some additional funds, but we're afraid to commit those funds until we know how productive and stuff.
And we get the same amount of money for our SROs that we got last year?
That does not come to us anymore. That goes to the sheriff's.
75,000.
Yeah, that's one of the changes in our budget. The sheriff gets funded 75 per officer, And they still didn't have money for some of the training fees, so we are taking $50,000 in this budget, sending it to the sheriff's department for training, like the SRO trainings in the summer, and they may buy some equipment out of that, so.
Lastly, I would just ask you, how much were you able to put toward capital, on your budget?
I don't even have that pulled up, we have to look.
And I guess while he's looking at that, Mr. Director, I would just ask, as we're looking at those capital expenditures and things, do you have the schools listed in the priorities of which those funds need to be expended?
Yeah, Casey has a list of expenditures for capital needs, the things that he's dealing with. The ESSER money, we're rolling some of ESSER 3.0 over, but we have to have it spent by December. We're finishing off the roofing project at Roane County High, for example. But we're spending the last dollar of ESSER this next budget cycle. It'll be gone by mid-year. And then the rest of it, so 8.5 total, 8.5 in capital. 8.5. But once that ESSER rolls off, it's all gonna be on us. So we're gonna put our roofing money that we're rolling in, the pennies, and we're gonna start on Cherokee Middle. That'll be sometime this fall. The next roof, I think that'll be roof number 9, thanks to the ESSER funding. So
How about your ARC funding? Are you okay on your ARC funding by the
that's
end of the year?
what we call it ESSER. It's the same kind of money. And it's all budgeted, it was already budgeted, and all we're doing is spending that money down. So.
Okay, so you got it all allocated and everything?
Yeah, it'll be out by December.
Very good, thank you, Mr. Green.
All right, any other discussion on, 2402? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. Motion carries 14. All right, resolution 062402 Bravo, resolution fixing the tax levy in Roane County, Tennessee for the fiscal year beginning 1 July 2024. Motion by Wilson, second by Henderson. Commissioner, Wilson.
Nothing further.
Commissioner Henderson.
So these tax levies, I mean, that's just another tax increase. Am I right in saying that? I mean,
So
we're raising taxes on something, right?
No.
I'm not to understand that.
This is just how the taxes, the money's.
That's already there.
The
That's what I was curious about.
Is this not the same 2.40 that we had
Yeah.
2 previous years?
Yeah.
All right, anything else, Commissioner Henderson?
Mr. Chairman, I'm not sure.
Hold on, I've got one in front of me, Mr. Berry. Commissioner Gann.
Yeah, section 4, I talked to Jennifer about this, and she gave me the answer on the chapter, but on section 4, we say that they're hereby levying a tax upon the occupancy of every hotel. Is that really a true statement? Should we say every hotel? Because we do not get taxes on Harriman hotels. So is that an accurate statement? Is it okay to say that, or should we say participating? Or is that by statute or law?
Floor recognized County Executive.
My understanding is this is our law, and the city's ordinance, I'm guessing, would, because of the timing of it, would impact how the county receives funds, but it wouldn't necessarily change the language of our own resolution. Councilor, is that accurate or not?
I think you have copied this from your private act, which would make it accurate. There are some statutes that govern the city's tax, and I don't think that you need to make it say all participating hotels. It's just all hotels, and it's whatever hotels that your tax applies to.
I just want to make sure it was accurate.
No, I think this is accurate under the law because it only applies to what it applies to under the law.
Anything else, Commissioner Gann?
No, sir.
All right, Commissioner Berry, you had?
I'm sorry.
Okay. All right, any other debate? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. All right, 13-1. All right, resolution 06-2403 Bravo, resolution making appropriations for various funds, departments, institutions, offices, and agencies of the Roane County, Tennessee for the fiscal year beginning 1 July 2024 and ending June 30, 2025. Motion by? Motion by Hooks, second by Berry. Commissioner Hooks.
Next vote.
Commissioner Berry.
Okay, so this was set in our budget. Is that correct, Mr. Chairman?
That's it. As I stated, this is it.
Okay, so, first of all, on our page 101 of our capital stuff, if you go to, CIF, Community Investment Project, there was a request by the mayor of Kingston to increase this fund, for the library. And so the budget committee, voted to increase the funding from, $15,000 a city to $25,000 a city. And by doing that, we're using $55,000 of interest to offset that. I think we're headed down the wrong path if each city comes individually asking for something. This was originally set up for economic development, so that we were giving the cities a little money to help them with economic development. So I think if we allow this to go through, what we're doing is we're saying, okay, Kingston's doing it this year, Rockwood, you come in next year, Harriman, you come in next year, with individual things. And then the others are just piggybacking off of that, to take the ride for that particular year or 2 years until it's their turn again. I think we're making a mistake by doing this. I'd like to make an amendment that we that we go back to the original, $15,000, allocation to each city.
All right, I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, any discussion?
Yeah, I got a request to speak.
All right, Commissioner Wilson.
So, just to clarify, the mayor did ask for, increase of funds through, but it wasn't through CIF. The CIF was something, because it didn't take maintenance of effort, because once you give to the library board, it's a maintenance of effort, and we just couldn't do that at this time. And I don't even think he knows anything about this portion of it. It was members of the library board that came and said, is there any way that you can help in this matter? And I said, well, the only thing that I can think of is to do a one-time contribution into the CIF fund, which state this is a one-time contribution, because there is an increase. I mean, the cost to do this has increased, and it was just a way for my side as the commissioner of my district, was trying to find a way to help in that matter, and it didn't cost us yearly. So that's where we came up with that. So that's all that was, just trying to help. And they were gonna push that money towards the library for so.
County Executive.
Yeah, just a point of reference there, for their contribution last year that County Commission appropriated to the City of Kingston, $15,000 was used for HVACs for their library. So it was a one-time library expense. I think that was kind of the deal that you had offered here, that we could potentially try through CIF.
Yeah, each city had projects that they were gonna benefit from this, so that's part of that too, so.
Commissioner Gann.
Mr. Wilson, did you say that was to be put into the CIF fund, or did you say that was mistakenly put into it?
No. No, he didn't ask for it to be put into the CIF. That was just what we kind of come up with, that we could do it without it being a yearly cost, a maintenance of effort cost. That's all it was.
Commissioner Barry.
Yes, I think, I wasn't aware this was a one-time deal. I thought that we were putting this in the same fund, that we had $30,000 balance from last year. So either we're using all of that money up, or I don't think they think it's a one-time deal. I think they think they're getting $25,000 every year if we increase this. I've talked to two of the mayors and they really aren't concerned. They don't have any projects they need right now, so they're not concerned with it. I just think what we're doing here is we talk about growing government, just growing government.
They don't want money?
Excuse me?
They didn't want the money?
Well, they weren't concerned. I mean, they didn't have to, they weren't.
That's what I heard.
But, so if you're saying we're doing this a one-time deal, where does it say that?
That's what we had talked about, and we will send a letter when we do that it is a one-time contribution to do that.
So I think we're probably gonna have more trouble taking it away than we are giving it.
Just to clarify there, so the way the community investment fund is set up is that it has to be a request. So if we allocate $60,000 to it, the cities aren't the only ones eligible to apply, by the way. I mean, it's the way the resolution's written, and nonprofits can apply too. But the way we've treated it the last couple of years is to partner with the city on requests, projects. The resolution reads that it is focused on economic development, but we've been pretty liberal in how we let them, but they still have to. So what I'm adding here is that it's one time in the sense that they gotta ask for it for a specific project for that year.
But the money for next year would be $100,000 in the fund.
As proposed in the budget, yes.
Proposed here, so that's what we're doing, is we're proposing a fund for $100,000. On an annual basis. I just think we're headed down the wrong path. That number will very easily become 300, and then 500,
That's
then
not
a million. And it's just like everything else, that we start out very easy and trying to do good, and it ends up coming back and biting us every time. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Brackett.
I guess my question is, Kingston, I guess the mayor has asked for money for the library, correct?
Yeah, he wanted it under maintenance of effort, like a yearly.
Which is, right, reoccurring.
This is not.
So if we leave it like it is, he can come in here and say, hey, I'm here tonight presenting for the $15,000, or he might ask for 20 or 25 out of it. And then it's up to us what we give him that night, correct? For the library.
Well, whatever he comes, you know, this is the funny thing about this one. They can take this money and go do what they want to, but the intent requested was for library. They could take it and go put up a sign. I'm being honest.
Right.
But we have to trust them that that's, you know.
And I'm for supporting the library, but I think if we leave it like it is, we can support them 15 or more. We don't get in this debacle, right, to come in and see what he is actually asking for the one time, and maybe we have it without going through the whole up and down and not knowing really where we're getting it, where it's going, how much we're doing, a one-time thing, right?
And here's another thing, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. Another thing too is, we can decide, this 60, 100, this is a capital line. So through the budget process, y'all get to figure out whatever you want it to be every single year. It can be zero. It doesn't have to be anything. So this isn't necessarily something that's gonna automatically recur. We, as an accounting team, put that back in there because that's what we did last year, and we'd like to continue those partnerships, but it can be whatever y'all want it to be.
There's a $60,000 pie, and it's up to whoever comes, how big a piece they want, and we say yes or no at this time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
We've done it equally.
right, we've done it equally, but if Harriman don't need the money,
Theoretically, yes.
Rockwood don't need the money,